Hey everyone, it's Michelle. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all my skincare favorites of 2022. Since I did my latest haul of 2022 video, I thought I would go ahead and film this one, especially before I get into the more heavy-duty topic of the Low Buy 2022 review. So having said that, let's get started, beginning with one of my first purchases of the year. That is the Bioderma Sensibio H2O Micellar Water. I was in a very lazy mode at the beginning of 2022, so micellar water definitely came in handy just to quickly cleanse my face morning and night whenever I just felt very lazy with my skincare routine. I remember trying this micellar water in 2013 for the first time, and I did not like it at all. My skin had a lot of inflamed cystic acne at the time, so I felt like using a cotton pad with the micellar water was just way too abrasive for my skin. So my skin was very easily irritated. I thought it was the micellar water. It could honestly be just how I was applying it at the time. Also in the early 2010s, I was wearing a lot of makeup. It required some pretty hefty cleansing, and I just felt like the micellar water was not cutting it. So I stuck to double cleansing with an oil cleanser or balm for the longest time. But now I'm in a phase of my life where my skin is finally clear, my acne is well controlled. I appreciate the look of my skin more. I don't find the need to wear a lot of makeup. In fact, I've been foundation free since around the end of 2019, only wore it a few times here and there, but for the most part, I have just been sticking with concealer as my main coverage. So micellar water has been definitely coming in handy for me last year and this year as well. Revisiting the Bioderma one in particular, it's actually very gentle on my skin. I experience no issues, does not dry out my skin, doesn't add really extra moisture either. It's just a nice simple formula. The reason why I wanted to go for the Bioderma one is because they kind of honed in on micellar water and for it to be very gentle to leave on your skin, hence why I was using it during my lazy skincare days. The Bioderma Sensibio H2O Micellar Water was definitely my favorite makeup all over cleansing remover for the year of 2022. But I do want to give a special shout out to the Garnier one because that one is way more affordable and it does the exact same thing as the Bioderma one. Next skincare favorite of 2022 is a cleanser. It's one I really enjoyed using once I got it. Haven't used it a whole lot because I did need to switch back to a more lotiony cleanser, but during the short time I used it in 2022, I loved it, was a bit obsessed with it, and I almost overused it, which you have to be careful about for cleansing. But nonetheless, the cleanser is the Balea Med Ultra Sensitive Foaming Cleanser. Still don't know how to pronounce that. I featured this in my slow skincare video back in November of 2022. This has such a lovely texture. It's foamy, it's velvety, it feels really nice on your face, so I heavily enjoyed using it. I was really happy to find out that despite it being a very foamy cleanser, it does not dry out my skin. So as someone who has a fairly normal skin type now, but it does lean on the drier side, especially if I use a drying skincare product, I'm really happy to know that I can enjoy a fluffy, velvety, foaming cleanser such as this. I have said this before about the Balea products, both the cleanser and the urea moisturizer I bought, but the price is right. The ingredients list is very good. It's nice and minimal, nothing that can compromise your skin's health, and both are enjoyable to use. This is also from the Sensitive line, so zero issues. That's it for the cleansing category of favorites for the year of 2022. Now moving on to the second one, which is the alternative active. So not the traditional ones that you hear commonly, such as tretinoin, AHAs, vitamin C, that good stuff. 2022 was the year I experimented a lot with these alternative actives because if you haven't watched my previous videos, I was recovering from several CO2 Fraxel laser sessions. Skin was very sensitive. I did not want to exacerbate any issues by using strong actives that I knew irritated my skin once in a while. So I took the opportunity to try these alternative actives, these gentler alternatives to the go-tos such as tretinoin. The first alternative active favorite of 2022 is none other than NIOD's Copper Amino Isolate Serum version 3.121. I gave this serum a very good run. I rotated it in my skincare routine for around 6 months. I already did a full review on this, which I will leave in the description box down below. And before using the NIOD one, I did empty a full bottle of the Ordinary's Buffet plus Copper Peptides 1% serum. Again, it's also been reviewed. Link in the description box down below. The reason I want to mention NIOD's CAIS3 is that it's the first time I saw texture refining results similar to that of tretinoin. It was one of the first results I saw while using NIOD CAIS3 at the beginning. My pores looked nice and minimal, and my texture just looked nice and smooth in general. The last time I saw such an effect was when I switched my prescription strength from 0.3% adapalene to 0.04% tretinoin. I know that effect can also be seen with certain chemical exfoliants such as BHAs, but the reason why with NIOD CAIS3 it impressed me more is because this is a very gentle product. I've had no irritation every time I've used it. And also, I used about 4 drops all over my face and neck. So very little goes a long way. So that's why I'm impressed I saw such immediate results after using this. For long-term results, I highly suggest you check out my full review. But what I will say about it now, in conclusion, from trying it for 6 months, is that it is a really lovely, well-aging alternative active to use, especially if you are of a more sensitive skin type. If you do use a small amount, like I said, I only needed 4 drops all over my face and neck. You will get your mileage with this despite the price. Of course, I cannot talk about alternative actives without mentioning a fermented serum. If you've been following my channel for a while, you'll know that I started using a fermented serum back in 2021. Super impressed with what it did with my skin, and I've just been incorporating one in my skincare routine ever since. The one that I'm going to mention for the year of 2022 that stood out to me is none other than MICH's Time Revolution Night Repair Ampule 5 times 77.2% Extreme Biome. Once I finished reviewing NIOD CAIS3, I cracked this open right away and was obsessively using it day and night. Again, only need 4 drops for all over my face and neck, and immediately fell in love with it. It does exactly what a fermented serum has been doing for my skin since 2021. The effects are actually quite similar to NIOD CAIS3 when it comes to the texture. Just makes my skin look nice and smooth. My pores look minimal. Quality of my skin just functions better. I find it less red, more resilient to environmental factors, and it also brightens my skin, makes it nice and even. I am impressed with both alternative active products, seeing the benefits of what copper peptides can do for my skin and what a fermented serum has been doing for my skin since 2021. I would say though, out of the two, I've been really liking the MICH one a lot more. I just find it makes my skin juicier, if that makes sense. Just makes it more plump, more filled with hydration, and I like the brightening effect of this as well. There is a bit of niacinamide in here, but fermented serums in general and fermented filtrate products like essences have always given my skin that really nice brightening effect. This one also makes my skin look nice and healthy, texture refined, all that stuff, but it doesn't give my skin the juice that this one does. So that's why out of the two, I really like the MICH one a lot more. That's it for the alternative active favorites of 2022. Now I need to talk about some old reliable actives, the ones that I was able to reach for near the second half of the year. One of them was definitely on and off throughout the year, so I will get to that first. That is Malaysia's Acne Treatment Gel with 2.5% benzoyl peroxide. When I first got this, I did not use it a whole lot on my face just because I had a prescription dapsone in my skincare routine to help with any active, inflamed, and non-inflamed acne. Ran out of that prescription a while ago. Can't remember when. Was it 2022? probably near the beginning of 2022, but ever since I ran out of it, I haven't found the need to consistently use an active to tackle active inflamed acne. My skin's been maintaining itself pretty well. But at the times when I did have an inflamed cystic acne, that's when the Malaysia Acne Treatment Gel came to the rescue. I do not put this all over my face just because my skin is still rather sensitive to a leave-on treatment of BPO. If you are curious, I did a full review of this, which I will link in the description box down below, and you will see what I mean when I can't use this all over my face. So I keep it as a spot treatment as needed. It's usually around my time of the month when I start getting some cystic acne, especially around my chin. So that's when I'll take a thin amount of this, apply it on my chin, and it just works so nice and quickly. My skin does not get irritated. I do not get that traditional flaky look from benzoyl peroxide products. My skin doesn't look dried out. It just does its thing at helping to reduce that inflammation while being gentle at the same time. I also featured Malaysia Acne Treatment Gel in my body care routine video where I talked about how I dealt with a bad cystic acne breakout on my back. And this was the Star Active that came to the rescue. If you're interested in my body care routine video, what I generally like to do and how I used the Malaysia Acne Treatment Gel, I'll be sure to link that video in the description box down below. Benzoyl peroxide, an oldie but goodie in anyone's anti-acne skincare routine. It's literally my first active I've ever used in my life, and it's still with me to this day. Now on to the second old reliable active that I started using near the end of the year, the second half of the year, when I felt like my skin was ready for it. My tretinoin prescription, it is Retin-A Micro at 0.1%. Once I stopped testing out Neod CAIS3 and I gave a good run of Micia's Time Revolution Ampule, I'm actually halfway done with this bottle, but once I gave this a good run as well and saw what it did for my skin, I also put this aside and started reintroducing tretinoin back into my skincare routine. Once again, my skin felt ready to use it. Oh boy, did I miss it. And once I started using it consistently, I'm talking 3 to 4 times a week, upping it to every day of the week just to get my skin back on track with it. I have fallen back in love with it. Essentially, it just does what I need it to do, make my pores look better, refine my skin texture, really help control my acne, and it also does an excellent job at fading post-acne red marks. Basically, if I had to pick one active to use for the rest of my life and I could choose no other, it would be tretinoin. That is it for all the actives that I loved for 2022. Now moving on to an amazing supportive ingredient that I've rotated in my skincare routine for such a long time, and I can confidently say now it's probably my favorite supplemental skincare product to have on rotation in my skincare routine, and that is Cica, or Centella asiatica, my favorite supportive ingredient when it comes to using these actives. The first one I'm going to mention I already bought twice this year. That is Bioderma's Cica Bio Pomade, recommended to me by an Instagram follower. Again, if you're watching, thank you so much for your recommendation. Fallen in love with this product and I cannot do without it. When I ran out of the original La Roche-Posay Cica Plus Balm, I was on the market for a different Cica product just because that one at the time, it left such a heavy cast on my skin. I wasn't 100% a fan of the texture, and also when I was recovering from my CO2 Fraxel laser session, it did sting my skin, and during that time I really needed something gentle. I used it because it did have the wound healing property to it, and I was told to use a Cica product for my post laser care. So it was around the time that I was running low on the original that the Instagram follower recommended me the Bioderma Cica Bio Pomade. So I went ahead and picked this up and immediately fell in love with it. I love the texture of this because it's an ointment-like texture. There is no cast, and best part, it is super gentle. So on any bad skin day where my skin is just going crazy, it's having an allergic reaction, got a cosmetic treatment or a procedure, I know I can rely on this product to soothe my skin, do its wound healing property, keep my skin nicely moisturized and not irritate my skin at all. Of course, I do have a second Cica product I must mention as my skincare favorite for 2022 because I already gave it a rave review on my channel. La Roche-Posay's new Cica Plus Balm B5 Plus. While I haven't used this yet for post-laser care, I have used it on certain times where my skin was very irritated. I had an allergic reaction. My skin was very flushed from eating spicy food, and also using it when I had some pretty bad cystic acne breakouts on my chin. Used this every time, and all of that happened within a span of a couple of weeks. It was just not a good time for my skin. But this managed to come to the rescue, calm my skin down, get it back to its normal skin colored state, and lower inflammation around my cystic acne when used with my prescription strength tretinoin. It performed so well in that 2-week span where my skin was going through a rough time. It did not irritate my skin at all, just really came to the rescue. Now we are on to the last skincare favorite of 2022, and you probably saw it here in the corner. It is, of course, a sunscreen. It is a Avène's Very High Protection Cream SPF 50+. After years and years of trying various different sunscreens, I have finally found one that I can actually wear on its own comfortably. I do not need a moisturizer when I use this sunscreen, especially in the warmer months. I'm able to just wash my face with water and go in with this sunscreen. Face is fine, it is comfortable, and I do not feel any type of dryness throughout the day. It is a cream texture, but it's not greasy at all. It's really easy to apply, and it doesn't leave a crazy greasy, oily shine on the face. There is a bit of a tint in the sunscreen. It's yellow, but I don't find it leaves a yellow cast on my skin, so to speak. It just melts into my skin and just makes my skin look a lot more even. I definitely need to do a dedicated review on this sunscreen before I finish up this tube, so stay tuned for that. But for this video, all you need to know now is that this is my favorite sunscreen of 2022 because it's an actual moisturizing sunscreen. That is it for my skincare favorites of 2022. As always, I hope you find content like this helpful and informative, or entertaining at the least. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a like. Subscribe to my channel down below for future videos, especially if you want to watch my low buy 2022 review and how I will be approaching a low buy year for 2023. That content is coming up next, so be sure to subscribe to my channel down below if you are interested. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you have any questions about the products I mentioned today. Remember, I did review a few of these products already, so be sure to check out my description box where I will leave a link to all of those. If you have any recommendations for me for 2023 that you think I will like, based on my favorites of 2022, I would also love to read about it. That is it for this video. See you all soon. Ciao.